John Hates Movies, blah, blah, blah.
Yes, I know.
Welcome to John Hates Movies, the podcast where my friends make me look at things in my room and make movies.
We should start it off that way.
Jesus Christ.
I love your guys' impression of me. It's just fantastic. Welcome to John Hates Movies. And I say some stuff that nobody really ever finds funny. So, there we go.
Oh, excellent.
Want to ring the bell?
I'm taking it back. I'm taking them all back.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
I'm a loner, Daddy. Rebel. I am the walrus.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to John Hates Movies, the movie review podcast where my friends prevent me from turning a dollar store into my entire prop department and instead force me to watch movies.
Oh, no.
This week, we have with us Eric Largent.
Tally ho.
We have Chris Arsenault.
This is God.
We have James Barrett.
I couldn't remember a quote for this movie, but whatever. Bitch!
And we have Colin McMillan.
I'm your boyfriend now, Johnny.
I was hoping for that one. And I am your host, John Barrett. And this week, we are bringing to you cracked beer cans.
Yeah. Crack your beers, everybody, because we want some old shit.
Strap your dicks on.
That's right. We are bringing to you what is widely regarded as a horror slasher classic, A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
You may even say that they named the slasher genre after this movie.
You could say that.
Which is interesting because the movie wasn't very scary.
No.
It had some slashiness to it, but it wasn't that impressive.
And so Chris's review.
And as for being a classic, it is old, but that's about all it's got going for it.
I actually think, I'm not sure which one was first and which one coined the term, but
Polio, what a classic.
Thank you.
Jesus. I got time for him.
I'm just saying, if it was good enough for
Scarlet
president.
Fever.
yes, I do think that Halloween was the one that actually caused the term to be coined.
I thought it was Friday the 13th, but I don't know.
I'm not 100% sure. But years after being burned alive by angry parents, wow, just without any context.
Years after being burned alive by angry parents, innocent school teacher Mrs. Smith finds work again.
Exactly. Child killer Freddy Krueger returns to haunt the dreams and waking hours of small-town teens. Starring John Saxon, Ronnie Blakely, Heather Langenkamp, and directed by Wes Craven. What? Yeah, I know they don't credit Robert Englund. I too was surprised. Considering
That's fucking nuts.
Captain Jack Sparrow?
That's fucking nuts.
He was number 2 in this movie. He was fucking Riker.
Oh my god.
yes. So, as is John Hates Movies tradition, the person who picked this film gets to review it, and that is Colin.
Yes, it's true after my crushing victory in the game last week, which I think all of you are probably still applying that burn ointment.
Yeah, we're reeling.
Yes.
You hit me so
Yes.
bad I'm having deja vu. It's like I've experienced this bit before.
Right, yeah. I just listened to the Princess Bride episode, so, guilty.
It's almost like we didn't record this week, so you're hearing this episode instead.
Then why do I have all this aloe vera applied?
It's almost as if we sometimes record an episode in advance so you, the listener, does not have to go hungry for John Hates Movies when situations prevent us from recording.
And surprisingly, these ones always do way better than the ones we actually record for you. So, I don't know.
I don't mind stealing bread from the mouths of decadence.
it's so funny though because like we did Princess Bride was one of our standby episodes, and as soon as we put that out, which I wasn't on that one, and it made me so sad because I was literally like talking back to you guys while listening to it, and there's so much feedback about it on our Facebook page. There was like people are commenting 7 times, like 7 times in a row themselves to like weigh in on Princess Bride. So I have to say I hope that Nightmare generates the same kind of interest because I know this is a classic that a lot of people love, myself included.
That's the idea behind these fill-in episodes. I think
we're gonna do a movie that we know some of y'all love.
Yeah.
So Nightmare on Elm Street is an interesting one because like Johnny said in the intro, these are some low budget effects, and part of that is because this is the movie that put New Line Cinema on the map. Like they didn't exist before this movie, and they produced Nightmare on Elm Street, and something about it just really captured everybody's imagination, and it blew up, and it made a viable studio out of New Line. Like, that's so crazy. Now, you watch it now, many years later, and these guys had like $2 to spend, but the things they did with it, it's so cool. Like, I've seen this before, sure, we all have, but like watching it again, it's been a while, and there's an effect where Nancy's sleeping in the bed, and a figure appears over the bed, and like is like pressing its face through the ceiling, and it's probably like a nylon screen or something that he's pushing his face against. Yeah. I mean, this is not complicated, but it looks so cool, even though that's not really the ceiling. Like, that was a great idea. That was a great idea for an effect.
Yeah.
And they stole it for like a million other horror movie covers.
They did. Yeah. And you know what effect they blew their budget on 2 things, which are actually like really cool. Now, one is less cool because you've seen it a zillion billion times before, and that is a very extended man on fire bit at the end. Like, you want to know where all the money went in this movie? It's paying that stuntman. Like, even though the Freddy mask on him at that point, like, kind of looks like a hard-boiled egg, like, that dude is on fire for a really long time. And this was 81 or 84. 84. That's real fire on a real guy. Like, tromping around a real basement. And stunt people get buku bucks for that stunt. Like, tens of thousands of dollars a minute.
Yeah,
expensive stuff.
It's just like the end of Children of the Corn, where they blew their entire budget on the fireballs at the end.
Yes. Yeah, because you didn't have CG explosions in the early 80s. You had to really blow some shit up.
Yeah.
You had to really set some guy on fire.
You really had to set a guy on fire. And like, John knows from his partying days in the late 90s that setting a guy on fire by itself really isn't that hard.
But to be fair, he thought
True
that guy
story.
was
That's real. No, that's real. That was a real thing. They called it the barbecue because Bob was on fire. And Bob was okay, but like it's very dangerous and it's really hard to control it. So, and when a stuntman goes, "Yeah, I'll be on fire for your stupid horror movie," he might die. So anytime I see a real legit man on fire thing, like, I'm always impressed.
Denzel Washington.
Yep.
You know what? That was a great movie.
Weren't we supposed to review that at some point?
I think we were, but we just didn't for some reason. All right. This is one of my all-time favorites. Pardon me. This is one of my all-time favorite horror franchises because of the idea behind it. And we all know it. Freddy Krueger hunts you in your dreams. What I really like in this first one, and I had forgotten, I remembered this movie wrong. I remembered that Nancy's mom explains to her that Freddy Krueger will come after you in your dreams. But what's awesome about the first one is even the people who knew who Freddy was didn't know that yet.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've talked before about how horror movies should have rules. And what's cool in Nightmare on Elm Street is you can see the rules being born. Like, in It Follows, somebody shows up and explains the rules of the monster to the main character. But Nancy figures out the rules with the viewer in the original Nightmare on Elm Street, and that sets the whole rest of the franchise, except for number 2, where they changed the rules and it sucked. But that's one thing that I really do appreciate about this is you get to see the rules of Freddy Krueger being created in almost like real time. Because nobody in the fiction knows what's going on when Nightmare is occurring. And I really like that. And I think that's a choice they don't usually make in horror movies. There's always some guru-like character that shows up and holds your hand through explaining what the fuck is going on. But you figure it out with Nancy in the original Nightmare on Elm Street, and I appreciated that. The other awesome effect where the rest of their budget went is when they use this twice. When Tina is murdered and then when Johnny Depp's character is murdered later. Mm-hmm. And it's the rotating room.
Yeah.
Yep. And that is so awesome. And like they built this room in a cube on a big, huge apparatus, and it rotates. So when Tina goes from the bed to the corner and then gets dragged up the wall, what's happening there is they have a camera staying stable in this room that's rotating, and gravity's doing all the work. So she's crawling across the floor when you see it as the ceiling, and that was so innovative and awesome.
I think
it wasn't innovative. That was from 2001: A Space Odyssey. No, they did that in that movie.
That is true.
That was one of the first movies to do that trick.
But to use it for horror,
that was suck a dick.
It was a really good. Okay, well, how about
awesome.
This? How about this? Whether they made it up or not, that was a really good thing to use in a horror movie, and they used it well.
Yeah, they did it at least twice, right? Like they did it a few times. Yeah,
they do it. They do it at least when Tina is killed and when Johnny Depp is killed, because the blood shooting up out of the bed, that's just blood pouring out of the bed.
Right. Yeah.
You know, that's gravity doing all the work.
Yeah. But it's clever. It's clever filmmaking by people that need to like keep their budget tight.
We used to call that at broadcasting school. We called that guerrilla filmmaking.
Oh yeah,
where you use what you got.
Are you going without permits or anything and just get your shots?
Yep. Another great example of guerrilla filmmaking: King Kong.
Oh God.
I was like a second behind you. I was about to fucking make a Jane Goodall reference.
Yeah, there you go.
No, who's that guy dancing in the rain guy?
Fred Astaire?
Yeah, Fred Astaire. Yep. And also Breakin'.
Breakin' 2. It's like a fucking Jamiroquai music video. You seen that video where he's running around in the room? Yeah.
Oh man.
No, that's real.
Does
Jamiroquai can actually stick to walls.
Yeah, I heard that. So can
Chameleon.
So can Chameleonaire, but he doesn't really show it off. Sorry. All right.
Animal puns, everybody!
Wow. Colin showed up with his whole book of animal puns today.
Yeah, you know. I dabble. All right, so there's a couple other really cool effects they do that accomplish the creepiness, like the girl in the body bag. That's cool. Like that's a good creep out, you know? I really like that. Another thing I noticed is the teacher in this movie is the medium in the Insidious movies. Like, so she made her glorious return to horror, and that.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and that was really cool. I really like that.
Robert Carlyle.
Yes, it was Robert Insidious Carlyle.
Yep.
So there's other than just raving about how much I really like this movie, even though the effects are cheesy and like the parts where you see like Freddy chasing after people, he looks like one of the guys in Oh Brother Where Art Thou when they steal the pie and they're like running through the field with their arms flailing. Like some shit.
He runs really weird.
Yeah,
I
think it's because that makeup was about to fall off of his face at any given moment, and he's just like, oh god, like,
oh dear.
But there's one really interesting thing that I noticed I'd never noticed in this movie before, and that is in the place where they did the sleep study. And this was so distracting to me. I don't know who's responsible for this, but that doctor has the awesomest poster hanging up in that room right behind him. It's like he's having this really serious talk about dreams with Nancy's mom, and right over his shoulder is a poster with a kitten in a Hawaiian shirt riding the San Francisco trolley.
Nice.
Yeah.
That doctor, by the way, is Roger Rabbit.
No kidding.
Yep, the doctor is, I can't remember his name, Charles something.
But
he's the voice of Dr.
Roger
Rabbit.
It's
Roger Rabbit.
Dr. Roger Rabbit.
Dr. Roger Rabbit. Roger Rabbit.
No, I was gonna say, am I the only person who those like inspirational posters really fucking bum them out?
Yeah.
Like the one with
the
like
demotivational posters.
yeah,
fun.
those are cool, but like the one with the cat hanging and it says hang in there, that bums me the fuck out.
Because that
big
cat's
time.
dead by now.
No, it's just like that. Those kind of messages make me really feel bad. I don't know why.
No, because they're telling you that things are bad and you need to hang in there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who
just
put the
those-
cat on a string anyway?
Those bum me out.
I'd rather have a poster that says
time.
you're doing good. You know, not like, hey, things are shitty, hang in there. You know, you're
Posters
you're
of a
going
bunch
to
of
fall to
people
your
at
death.
Walmart.
You're going to fall to your
Ugh.
death, so hang in there.
Yeah,
You know.
that shit. Or like the teamwork one where it's like a bunch of skydivers hanging around. I don't know.
Yeah.
That one bums me out too. I don't know.
Well, that bums me out too because I don't have any friends. Because I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna be the skydiver with no one nearby. I'll
And
just
no
be all by
parachute.
myself. Loneliness. You have no friends. So, Colin.
So anyway, I think Nightmare's a great movie. I think it stands up if you're willing to look at some cheesy effects. They did a great job with what they had, and I can still see why it captured people's imagination so much. I think Nightmare on Elm Street is pretty fucking cool. I still love it.
Who's next?
Okay, this is the first time I've watched this movie.
Oh, really?
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm not sure I've ever actually watched any of the other Nightmare on Elm Street movies either, to be honest with you. And
The first time I watched it was with James and Too Deep.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Shout out to Too Deep.
It's too deep for you motherfuckers.
Right.
so yeah, this is and I didn't read the synopsis, so I didn't know why he was so angry. So as I'm watching this, I'm like, this dude's a really skilled craftsman.
Yes.
Why would he choose to be such a malevolent entity? It made no sense.
He's an angry ghost.
Anger go. It just, I don't know why. So this is me watching the movie and not really understanding till halfway through, and I should explain to you what Fred's motivations are. Also, that dude was totally banging Tina's mom.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Wait, Fred Krueger?
No, the dude, like he kind of
dad. It was like come back to bed. Yeah,
Yeah.
come back to bed.
Oh,
Yeah.
boyfriend.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
like as soon as he shows up, he's like, they're banging,
Oh, yeah.
hard banging.
Yeah, that's the guy that's fucking your mom.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's that. He's your dad now.
Well, then
that's a gross
you know,
feeling.
they're you keep seeing all
Wash
these
that
like.
helmet off first.
Shut up, James.
All right.
Then they keep on doing the annoying 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. So I'm like, maybe that's it. Maybe he's angry because everyone's calling him Freddy. His name's Fred.
It's fucking Frederick. Frederick
His name's
Krueger.
Fred. He's even listed in the credits as Fred Krueger. Not Freddy Krueger,
Yes.
Fred.
Wow.
Just saying.
He's just like, it's pronounced Krieger. God
It's
damn it.
German. It's Krieger.
It's Krieger.
And now we're moving further into the movie, and I'm like, okay, it's gonna. Glenn starts investigating the noise when they're all hanging out at the house, and
Yeah.
like, okay, this is a horror movie, so nobody knows horror movie rules. He walks out yelling into the dark, goes out into the dark, and then turns his back on the dark.
Yep.
Like a dipshit.
And then Jock jumps out.
Then Rod missiles him in the back, and
It's
then
jock jammed.
and then I
You
kind
just
of
got jammed.
We got jammed.
and then I started
Retro
thinking
jammed.
Rod's a real dick, and I hope he dies, which is foreshadowing.
I hope you feel great about yourself.
Well, I also thought that Glenn is never going to get any,
Yeah.
Mm.
and then I thought Fred runs really weirdly.
Yes.
So at this point, I still, like I said, wasn't understanding this, and I didn't really understand his motivation, Fred's motivation. And I'm thinking about it, and then I was interrupted by an impressively unenthusiastic reading of Shakespeare
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
then turned kind of creepy. Nightmare on Elm Street, a comedy. When a misunderstood man is regularly slurred with nicknames and infantile rhyme schemes, his only option is to forge a set of glove knives and take... Apparently I didn't finish that thought. The most invested I was ever in this movie, the most invested, like the most focused I was for this entire movie. She has her freak out. So like her friend.
Your joke just stopped halfway through.
That's all I needed to do.
Those are the best jokes.
The best joke is the one you don't have to explain. Sometimes that means not finishing it. Anyway, so the girl's in school. She falls asleep during Shakespeare reading, and it was kind of creepy and whatever. She's being chased and shit. She burns herself and wakes up and has a freak out in the middle of fucking class. And it's at this moment during this entire film that I'm actually invested.
Good.
Because I was really afraid she was going to leave her pen on the table.
You know what? I noticed that too.
I saw that. She collects her bag, puts like her book away, and you see the slate about to move, and she grabs it. And I was so happy. She remembered her pen.
Yeah.
It looked like a nice pen. I'm just
Never
saying, it
forget
wasn't
your
a
pen.
cheap throwaway Bic. It was one of those like
I
heavier
seriously
pens.
noticed that too. Like
Yeah,
that,
it was a solid
that's
pen.
weird. Yeah. That's
That Nancy has a nice pen.
Yep.
No, just that, like, if a character on screen, like, just leaves something behind that they shouldn't leave behind, that would bother you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Welcome
then-
to my life.
Hey man,
then-
Nancy's legit.
Welcome to
We find
my
out
life.
that Glenn is just a dipshit because horror exists in their world.
Mhm.
She wakes up to Evil Dead on the TV and turns it off. Horror
Yeah.
exists. So you want to talk about a movie that's actually scary? Evil Dead. You want to talk about a movie who did very much with no real budget? We have Evil Dead. That's a good movie. Watch Evil Dead.
You didn't like Freddy's long arms?
No, that was pretty fucking stupid.
Yes. Yeah, long arms, man.
So this is how it goes. The movie starts out slow and just really just boring. And then you're introduced to this plate of these characters that honestly doesn't make any sense because, like I said, I didn't read the synopsis. Why would you? You watched the movie to find out about it, right? I was told to watch the movie. That's what I did. But but like I said, I spent half the movie trying to figure out why. You know? I mean,
Yeah.
and then like, this guy was killing all these kids, but he got off because, someone didn't sign something in, so his parents got together and killed him. He can't hurt you now because mommy killed him.
Right.
And yet all this shit going on, and the mom still doesn't believe her. That's one thing. But now that we know that horror exists, I get to actually appreciate this movie because the main character does the one thing that nobody does in a horror movie. And this is happening at like the peak of the horror genre, that it steps out and realizes my characters don't have to be as stupid as the characters in a horror movie, and she fights back. She just doesn't continue to run and fumble for her keys, although she does that a lot and is kind of fucking stupid. She has a fucking sledgehammer and used it to hit him in the stomach
Hell
and not
yeah.
escape the fucking house.
Yeah. Yeah.
But she realized that she can fight back, which is impressive. And she realizes that she can, when she pulls the hat out, she can pull him out. She's very smart and yet infinitely stupid.
Well, yeah.
So she's still in a horror movie, obviously. So, long story short, things happen, blah, blah, blah. They beat Freddy, maybe, I don't know, because it was really it was kind of confusing because, like, it takes her mom, then she's like, you have no power over me because you're shit. And then, like, she wakes up in this odd, whimsical dream world that seems less real than the nightmare she's been in, but she decides it's real, and then they drive away in a Freddy car. And if
Still dreaming.
That was weird, and I didn't. The whole whimsical dream ending thing, I didn't like. I thought that was stupid, but if they ended it there, I would have been fine. But no, they pan back to the mom, and she's like, waving at them. And if they ended it there, I would have been fine. But no! You see this fucking claw hand break through the goddamn window, grab the woman's neck, then drag a doll through the fucking window.
That's incredible.
So the movie goes
That's
from, like, I
incredible.
have absolutely no respect for it, and it's stupid, to, that's kind of interesting, to, Fuck you.
That's one of the best awful horror movie endings ever.
Yes.
Like it is.
That gif of him like ripping her through the window
That
is
was
one of the
terrible.
best.
So
It's so good.
Yeah.
I believe you can all understand where I'm coming from when I say this. Watch Evil Dead.
Evil Dead 2 's
So
better.
my theory about the end of Nightmare on Elm Street is that's her mom's dream.
That's weird. But I guess.
That's Freddy killing her mom.
I guess. Whatever. Sure.
I think
I'm not reading into it because I
unless
don't
the
care.
part where he fries her on the bed is actually real. Things get a little loosey goosey at that point.
at the end.
Yeah.
So who's going next?
I'll go because I don't have much to say. Yeah, so Colin pretty much covered all the main points. I think that
I think Chris covered all the main points.
Yeah, that pen stuff had me riveted. As a guy who always forgets his pen, yeah, that's real life. Fuck your movies.
That's the real horror.
Your Chris shoes with movies. No, that's what makes a movie believable for me is when somebody forgets their pen. If somebody forgot their car keys and walked all the way to their car and had to walk back, then I'd be like, oh shit.
This movie's pretty real.
Yep.
That shit was chilling.
Yep. Yeah, I'm the guy who'd be like running from the monster, and I'd get to the car and I'd like reach in for my car keys and have nothing. And then it'd flash to the diner and it'd be sitting on the diner table. And I'd be like, fuck!
Okay, that would actually be pretty funny.
That would be hilarious.
pretty
That would be
funny.
great.
Like, that would be a really good way to turn that trope on its head.
Yeah.
Like, it really would.
Hey,
Instead of jiggling the keys and like fumbling with them, he just forgot them. And like, what the?
hey man, it followers. We can do this.
Yeah.
It
Still follows. Yeah.
So the idea behind it is actually really kind of awesome because Wes Craven got it is Wes Craven, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Wes Craven got this idea by reading news stories that were coming out of Japan of students who weren't sleeping and were actually dying in their sleep.
Yeah.
Which is still like an unsolved
Ooh.
thing
Yeah.
that they don't know why these people died in their sleep or what the fuck happened with them and why they were so afraid of going to sleep.
I read that shit on the Wikipedia last night.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
I
honestly,
didn't know
like
that.
when they tried to do the remake of this with like Jackie Earle Haley recently, not really that good.
No.
Like nothing new added to it. It was
Yeah, there was no reason for a remake because they didn't bring anything fresh to it.
If you're gonna do like a remake of this story, I think you should go back to those stories and actually make a movie about those the students.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, Freddy Krueger, iconic. His design is totally awesome. That knife hand thing is really inspired and totally sweet.
Yeah.
Although, like, if looking at it nowadays with the experience that I have, I'm like, yeah, you'd actually have to be like a real craftsman to put that shit together.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. Yeah, man. Freddy was legit.
Yeah. Like,
He knew what he was doing.
yeah, I don't know. That is some
with
badass
his-
shit. Just to be like, yeah, nice.
What do they say his job is? Like he was
He's a janitor.
That's where he found his
he-
victims in wood shop.
There you go. Yeah. Well, he clearly had metal fabrication experience.
Yeah. But yeah, like decent atmosphere and stuff. I like the goofy kids thing, whatever, the goofy children's rhyme and shit.
I don't think Freddy did, though. I apologize. I don't
probably
think
didn't.
Fred.
Yeah.
He didn't appreciate being mocked.
Except then, so like I've cemented that theory into my head. Then he says, "Freddy's here." I'm like, "Fuck you!" Turn this movie upside down. Doesn't make a lick of
Come to
sense.
Freddy.
Yeah, he doesn't quite have the same like lines, like the one-liners and shit that he kind of gets later on. I think the first big one is "Welcome to Primetime, bitch," which is in the third one.
Yeah, he doesn't call anybody bitch yet in this one, does he?
No.
Yeah, bitch became his thing, calling people bitch. And, like, Freddy versus Jason's the fucking best for Freddy lines.
Yeah.
Although he does do the same come to Freddy in that one. Come to Freddy is a big one.
Yeah. Although, like, honestly, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 6 is absolutely ridiculous. He's a cartoon character in 6, and it's fucking hilarious.
That's Freddy's dead, right?
Yeah, that's Freddy's dead. But yeah. So
Isn't one of them called Dream Warriors?
Yeah,
Oh,
third
that's
one.
number 3, which for
Yeah,
some
3.
reason is the one that's impossible to find.
Yep.
Jesus Christ, you guys! You're talking about movies I've never even heard of.
I only know because
Much
I was
less
looking
seen.
stuff up yesterday on it.
I'm the
and, like,
wizard master.
and it was like,
Dude, they made so many fucking nightmare
Yeah.
movies. Six nightmare movies. Wes Craven's New Nightmare, and then like they made the remake, and
Freddy
they made the
versus
documentary,
Jason.
Freddy
Yep,
versus
versus
Jason.
Jason.
Like this shit
I
kept
was going to
people's
say,
attention.
the only one that I have ever attempted purposefully to watch was Freddy vs. Jason, but I couldn't find it.
Oh,
Oh,
right.
man, I loved Freddy versus Jason.
'Cause-
It was entertaining.
Like,
It was-
I'm not
yeah.
a huge fan of most of these movies, most because they suck, but Jason X was hilarious.
Jason
Yeah,
X
it
was
was.
fucking great.
When he beats the one girl with the other girl in the sleeping bag, that was
Yes, that was
classic.
fucking fantastic.
Oh my god!
Freddy versus Jason is the only Jason movie I've seen.
So,
You
there-
need to at least watch Jason X.
yeah, Jason X is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
1 and 2 are good.
See, I
One
like-
has a
I-
fantastic ending.
Yeah, one has a fantastic ending, but it's a slow burn.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, it's old school.
I think
horror.
Jason 3 is pretty solid too because
Which
that
one's
one's
the one in the
Jason-
hood?
That's 2. I think 2 has the hood.
Two
No,
has
that's
this
the
little-
Leprechaun.
that was a little early for hood movies.
He
Like,
goes
No,
to
I
the
think
hood.
it was. I think it
Oh
was the second
no,
one.
Jason
was
Takes Manhattan, I believe, is number 6.
Okay.
Yes,
Jason.
there
Takes
are a
Manhattan.
lot of there are many more
Oh yeah,
Jason movies
well,
than there are.
X is 10.
Yep.
So that'll give you an idea.
Yeah.
But 3 is supposed to be in 3D, so there's like a bunch of eye pokes in that make no fucking sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
So it's
Right,
hilarious. There's a scene where a guy yo-yos at the camera for no reason.
It's like
Yes.
an Amityville
Friday
3D.
the 13th, Part 8. Jason Takes Manhattan.
No, Jason.
Christ.
You want to watch Jason X and Jason New Blood, whatever that one is. I think it's 6 because that one is Jason versus Carrie,
Oh.
What?
and it is
Jason versus
good.
Carrie.
It is so awesome.
They remade Carrie again recently with like what's the girl who played Hit Girl in Kick-Ass.
Chloe Grace Moretz.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I liked what I saw of that, but I only saw half of it. Julianne Moore is a good crazy mom.
So
Whose
Winding
review
it-
is it?
God knows.
New Blood.
Whose
Jake-
review is it?
Oh, it's mine.
Oh.
I was gonna say, winding back to my review, the documentary. One of my best favorite parts about that is during the Jason versus Freddy thing is that they interviewed Jason Mewes, and he was like, "Wait, I wasn't in this fucking movie." But
How funny!
yeah, they had like a Jason Mewes ripoff in Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah, they did.
He got paid
that's
$50
right.
to make that joke.
Yep.
Wow, good for him.
Snooch the nooch.
Right.
Gotta get that money. All right. But yeah, so the movie did a lot of really creative shit, and I liked it. And honestly, my theory for the end of the first movie is that Jason actually managed to kill everybody. He killed all the
You
kids.
Freddy?
Yeah, sorry, Freddy.
No, I
Yeah, we're
agree.
mixing it
Jason
up.
killed everybody.
Yeah. Freddy killed
Jason
the
showed
kids.
up and
Jason
murdered
killed the
everybody.
parents. Freddy doesn't normally kill adults.
Right.
Like he normally kills like teenagers. and
Well,
shit.
he kills adults, but they say they're 16.
Kills
Oh
like
my
24-year-olds.
god! The line, the girl says, "Oh my god, I look 20." She was
Yeah, she
20.
was. I looked that up.
Me too.
Yeah. She was 20 when they filmed
Mhm.
yeah. So
Yeah, that's funny because I'm watching and she's going, "I look 20 years old." I'm like, "Yeah, you do."
So honestly, like I feel like Colin says, "Oh, they broke the rules in 2." I really don't think so because at the end of 1, they pretty much painted themselves in a corner because, as we know, you have to know about Freddy in order to be killed by Freddy. So, he takes on this guy, and this guy finds the glove and gets possessed by Freddy, and blah blah blah, and the whole thing's a metaphor for being a closeted gay teenager.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
Okay.
it totally is.
To be fair, I haven't seen it since like '94.
Yeah, it's really
So-
bad, but there is so many gays, like really, really obvious scenes when you look at it nowadays.
Huh.
Like the gym teacher getting tied up by towels, sentient towels in the locker room, and getting spanked naked.
Oh,
Okay.
Yep.
like I said, haven't seen it in a while. So.
Every time I watch this movie, the main lead in this It always throws me off because, as Eric said, I watched this with him in Too Deep, and we were in a band at the time with this guy, and she looks just like the lead singer of that band, his name is George, and he looks...
Wait, you saying Nancy looks like
George? Yes, Nancy looks just like George.
She does.
Like George is a dude?
George is a dude.
Nancy's
I thought
kinda
Nancy,
dude-ish.
in many ways, looked distinctly like a chick.
Yeah, I mean, it's so... But in the face, like, they have the exact same face, the exact same eyebrows.
Yeah, no way.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
Nancy's got some pretty hefty eyebrows. she's
And so did George.
So did George.
You know, as a man myself with hefty eyebrows, I never noticed that on women.
And I never particularly cared for George. As my friend Sean said, if this guy was smart enough, he could be Hitler.
Oh.
He was a real cult of personality, but a total idiot. So, like, Trump.
Gotcha.
So, shout out to George.
Shout
All
out
right.
to George. Yeah, that's why I'm not saying his last name, because, yeah, George. Never really liked him.
Somewhat porcine last name, though.
So, Eric.
It's Piglyworth.
Yeah. Eric. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So let me paint you a little bit of a fucking picture here.
All right.
Every night, so I watch this movie on a Friday night, you know, doing my thing. I put it out there to my friends. I was like, "Hey guys, what should I cook for myself on a beautiful Friday night?" Johnny goes, "Eric, you need to make a London broil." And I was like, "Fuck that, John's stupid." But then I started thinking about that nice red meat and like carving it up good, and I was like, "Oh shit, John maybe isn't that stupid." So,
High praise.
so then I went
John
to the.
Barrett, he maybe isn't that stupid.
On my tombstone.
So I went to the store and I got some good meat, and last night I cooked up a nice London broil and drank a bottle of red wine with it, of course, and it was good. But then I was like the point of the night was I was going to watch Nightmare on Elm Street, and you know, in a reasonable amount of time before I got to bed. But then the Tigers game went like 4.5 hours long, and I watched the whole thing because, you know, I mean, come on, guys.
Right. You got important stuff to do.
So then eventually I fired on Nightmare on Elm Street at about 11:30, and my body was digesting a lot of red meat and a whole bottle of red wine, and my body was like, "Hey man, it's time to go to bed." Like,
Oh, that's the last thing you want to do.
it's
It's
time.
Eric, whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
Yeah, I tried not to. But my body's like, "Eric, dude, you got to nap this one off." My dude, you just ate like almost a pound of red meat. Like, you need to go down. It's done. Your day,
Oh,
your
no.
week is over. So I throw on Nightmare on Elm Street, and you know, it's the second time that I've seen it. So I'm like noticing things that I didn't notice the first time, like
how tired you are.
yeah.
Like
When
that you're asleep.
when I turn on the movie and Freddy's making his knife gloves, I'm like, oh shit, that's actually pretty cool. At the beginning of a bad guy movie, the bad guy's like making his bad guy stuff. Like that's good. Like that was like really effective scene, or like that worked. And then like the whole like first half of this movie really like clips along. Like it like stuff happens. Like people get killed, they go to the party, the guy jumps out, people start dying, they figure everything out. Now once Nancy finds out that she can't go to sleep, the movie screeches to a halt, and like they just like spend the rest of the movie and it's like the whole second half of the movie is just her trying not to fall asleep. And like Johnny Depp is sitting in his bed with his like portable TV and his radio on. And she's across the street and taking caffeine pills and drinking coffee, and they just kind of slow it down. And at that point, I was like, okay. So then I went and I brushed my teeth while the movie was going because like it was bedtime. And then I like sat back down and I almost fell asleep. So then I turned my TV off, turned off turned off my PS4 that I was watching it on, and put it on my phone, and like laid down in bed for the end of the movie.
I slathered myself in barbecue sauce and wrapped myself in a warm tortilla, hoping that the cannibals wouldn't eat me.
Right, exactly. So then I felt myself nodding off toward the end, so I like started jumping like 30 seconds at a time ahead, because I kind of know how this is gonna go. I remember the fucking car at the end. I remember her I remember her having a fight. She thinks she wins, and then she gets into the car, and it's the Freddy car. I didn't remember Mom getting ripped through the door, but in our modern culture with Twitter and Facebook and all of our bullshit, I had seen that meme of Mom getting ripped through the door a million fucking times, and then she gets ripped through the door. I'm like, oh shit! That's where that's from. Seriously.
Yeah. The first time I saw that actually blew my mind. I thought it was so cool.
I think it was a little late for me to think it was cool the first time I saw it. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
It's like a blow-up doll.
I think it literally is.
Yeah. or just like a mannequin from Sears or something. You know? Yeah. So, all of that was basically a roundabout way of saying this. This is actually a pretty darn good horror movie. Like, it's not scary. Like, if you want to get scared, like, come on. This is like, you guys all know I hate horror. I hate scary movies.
Yeah.
This ain't a scary movie.
No.
But it's actually a pretty, like, for what it's doing, it's a pretty good movie. Like, this is a pretty good movie. I'm like no hate on Friday the 13th. If you want to watch a classic slasher flick, this is your shit. Like, this one you can go back to. It's not bad. This is worth revisiting. It's a good one. Just try not to do it at 11:30 on a bunch of red wine and red meat.
Yeah. You know, Eric, I'm really glad that you mentioned your sort of Friday ritual of treating yourself, because I was thinking of you when I was watching it, and I meant to mention this earlier because it was literally supposed to be my opener, but, you know, pressure was on. I had to move fast.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, I did the exact opposite of you.
Oh, hot and ready?
No. That would be a little too classy for my Friday night. So my fiance's asleep because she's got to work the night shift on Friday nights. So I'm getting ready to fire up Nightmare, and I get out the bag of tortilla chips, the sour cream and the Ortega sauce, and a couple of light beers, and I'm all ready.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, if you're gonna watch Nightmare on Elm Street, light beer and chips and salsa, not the fucking London broil and the like meaty Zinfandel.
Yeah, not a wonderful like heavy meal that you're going to be so like feeling nice and satisfied.
This is a taco dinner meal.
This is
a Taco
reheating
Tuesday
White
movie.
Castle.
This is a good Taco Tuesday movie. It's
a perfect Taco Tuesday movie.
So that's my take,
sliders.
Johnny.
That's a perfect take. I'm going to wrap us up, and I'm going to be fairly quick about it. The one thing that I was the most majorly concerned about was revisiting this well. Like so many movies that we've watched, when you take the nostalgia glasses off, you realize you're basically kind of experiencing a really piece of crap.
Yeah.
It's why one of the reasons I'm very scared of watching some of our sacred cows on this podcast. With that in mind, I actually did not mind this. I did make a joke about the special effects being super cheap, but that's because they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
They had to be.
They had to be. And this movie is still fun. And it's actually, I think it's worth watching for just how hard they tried in this. Because if you look at a lot of the horror movies around the time, as Eric mentioned, in Nightmare on Elm Street, about halfway, the pacing just drops to a dead crawl.
Yeah, it does.
But the first half is fast.
Mm-hmm.
And that had actually rarely ever been done with these kinds of movies before. Horror movies in general, before I keep saying Friday the 13th, before Nightmare on Elm Street, kind of basically, they all had Alfred Hitchcock pacing because that's how they thought it had to be done.
Yeah.
They didn't realize you could bring some action movie sensibilities to it. And that's what you got with Freddy.
Yeah.
And then because of that, the rest of them started adopting it. The rest of them got a lot more action-y. And that's what changed the slasher genre from like a psychological thriller. There's one other thing that I fucking love about the Nightmare on Elm Street series, which is a precedent that is set in this first one, which is basically they don't have to make the story make sense because 90% of the story is dream logic.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
So half of the time when they're going outside and they're like, I'm in the street and I really shouldn't be here, and you're like, oh my god, the character's an idiot. No, that character is dreaming.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's not
like when
until
she opens the door and then she's at the police precinct.
Exactly.
Like she goes in an old shed and then she's at the police station.
Yes, and having that tool at your disposal is very helpful when you're trying to suspend your disbelief.
Yeah. You can do a lot of weird shit in dreams. Like, I just had a dream this week with fucking Martha Stewart.
Oh, nice.
I mean, nothing weird happened, but she was there.
Awesome.
Is that the real inspiration for the London Broil?
That's what I was
It
thinking.
was all
shit.
me, baby.
Martha
It
Stewart
all
was
me.
in Eric's house the other night with a weird thing on her head and a briefcase. I think the London Broil was Inception, dude.
I accepted the suggestion to Eric because I really wanted him to have a London broil.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. So anyway, I guess the point that I'm trying to make is that even when you take the nostalgia goggles off, and if you rewatch this now, and this was a big important movie to you then, the goggles will fall off. In fact, this movie will rip them off because when you compare this to the way that films are done now, it's night and fucking day. No joke.
Yeah.
But it's still fun.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say it holds up because for me that means something different. For me that means that it maintains that same magic. It doesn't. But it has an entirely different kind of magic. The magic where you can actually appreciate what they're trying to do. And therefore, it's, get a good experience out of it.
Yeah, it's enjoyable to rewatch, even though it's not doing the exact same thing for you that it did the first time.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's a better way to put it than I could ever put it. So thank you, Eric. And that is me wrapping this up. So
And that is the story of me wrapping this up.
Onward happily.
Sometimes it's really hard to get out of a review. And don't tell me that none of you have ever had a problem with this because I have physical evidence. Each one of us has had a hard time
That's true.
getting out of a review at one point or another.
It's true.
So,
Whatever, perfect.
I hate it. 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 Yeah. No, I don't know what you're talking about, John.
all right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a short break, and when we come back, we are going to be back with the game.
Hooray!
Tally-ho, John Hates Movies listeners, it's Eric Largent with a quick reminder of how you can find us. The best way to stay appraised of all of our activity is to follow us on Facebook at John Hates Movies. There we'll post all of our new episodes as well as whatever we're feeling interested in at the moment. Please subscribe to us on your favorite podcast service like iTunes, Stitcher, or Podcast and Radio Addict. If you subscribe to us on iTunes, please leave us a comment. We read every single one and they're much appreciated. You can also follow us on Twitter at John Hates Movies or follow me on Twitter at Eric Largent. Now, stay tuned for the game and find out what movie we get to watch next week. And if you're feeling adventurous, watch along with us and leave us a comment on Facebook telling us what you thought of the movie. Thank you for listening and stay tuned for the game.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. It is now time for your favorite part and mine. It is time for the game. And as is John Hates Movies tradition, the person who picked the movie gets to run the game, and that is Colin. Colin, what kind of game do you have for us today?
Wait, guys.
First off,
Come on, guys. I don't know what any of you guys are talking about. you guys didn't mention anything about Santa Claus or a little girl or Macy's or like courtroom where they like load up a bunch of letters.
Wait a minute. Are you fucking talking about Miracle on 34th Street?
I thought of that while I was peeing, and I was like, God damn it, I just can't let this go.
I can't believe that you resurrected that gag on that big a stretch.
It's a good joke.
Yes, I mean, that's it. Well done.
Okay.
All right, tonight's game, and it's a Colin game, so I know you're going to find this hard to believe, but it's themed trivia.
Yay! I actually like them.
We watched Nightmare on Elm Street, so the theme is going to be dreams.
Oh, boy.
Yes, dreams, and we're covering a variety of topics from history to video games.
Martin Luther King.
Yes, that comes later in a question.
He did have one.
But it's not the answer.
I thought he had a dreamsicle.
We are doing scoring Colin style. One answer, 1 point. Somebody, please be funny for the sake of our listeners. Oh, fuck. I don't have a working pen. All of these are going to be free for all, so your name is your buzzer.
Oh.
All right.
Yeah, all right. So let's get started. All right, first of all, in the movie
James.
Terminator... You can't call somebody else. You can't do that. Also, or maybe I should say, Chris, your buzzer is malfunctioning. All right. Question number 1. In the movie Terminator 2, there is a very well-known dream sequence toward the middle of the movie. Sarah Connor has a dream. In that dream, who does she see?
Chris.
Chris.
Well, she sees a little girl playing on a swing that gets exploded.
That's true, but it's not what I'm looking for.
Too
Anybody
bad.
else?
That's what fucking happens.
I've never seen
She
the
also
movie.
technically, I think, sees herself.
Hey, there it is. All right, 1 point for Chris. All right, next question. In the movie Wayne's World, what song accompanies the appearance of Tia Carrere? John.
Dreamweaver.
Yeah.
Correct.
Ooh.
John and Chris are tied for 1 point. All right, moving on to Wayne's World 2. These are actually mainly movie questions, but there you go. In Wayne's World 2, who does Wayne see in his dreams that leads him to his destiny? James.
A Indian with a naked butt.
Damn it.
Oh, there is a naked butt Indian. Okay, I'm going to give it to you. I was thinking Jim Morrison, but he does see a naked butt Indian.
Yeah, both, technically. Did you find it a trifle unnecessary to see the naked rear of the Indian's bottom?
Yes. I had the same dream. All right, moving right along. In the movie Dumb and Dumber, there's a dream sequence where Jim Carrey is living out his future romance with Mary Swanson. At the end of the dream, when things get hot and heavy, Mary Swanson removes her top, revealing
John.
what? John.
Headlights.
Yep.
Yes. Correct.
Yeah.
All right. In the musical Little Shop of Horrors, Audrey daydreams about a life with Seymour, and she sings a song.
John.
What is the name of that song?
Damn it.
John. Somewhere that's green.
Correct.
Wow.
John is in
Okay, I would've
a
gotten that one
solid
wrong.
lead.
Johnny.
In the movie Dreamgirls, Eddie Murphy plays a James Brown-like character who battles drug addiction. What is the name of his musical superstar character?
Have any of us seen Dreamgirls?
I have.
I have, but I can't remember.
I have not.
My girl likes to party all the time. Party all
Anybody?
Nope.
Anybody? The answer is Jimmy Early.
Oh, shit.
Freddie Murphy.
Put a case in your butt. Put a metal
Freddie
case
Murphy.
in your butt.
Alrighty.
What?
Old school electronica music group by the name of Brainbug had a song that was featured in several movies, including Freddy vs. Jason and Night at the Roxbury. What is the name of that song?
Eric. Dreamweaver. That's like my favorite Pearl Jam song.
Incorrect, but I appreciate the comedy. Anybody else? Brainbug? Nobody?
Nope.
No.
The answer is Nightmare.
Oh.
No, come on, guys. All right. In the movie Nightmare Before Christmas, what are the names of the 3 trick-or-treaters?
John.
Lock,
Stock, and Barrel.
Incorrect.
James. Lock, shock, and barrel.
James has
Wow.
it. Shock and barrel. Which I don't know how they managed to do that.
Or why?
That seems wrong. Like, okay, in the movie What Dreams May Come, how does the protagonist pass away?
Chris. Suicide.
That's incorrect. His wife.
Oh, his wife committed suicide. Yeah, I don't know.
John.
Auto
accident.
Correct.
Whoa.
Yeah.
John has a solid lead.
That was a downer of a movie.
Mm-hmm.
It sure was.
Yeah, it was.
It sure was. Speaking of downer movies, does anybody remember the 2003 film adaptation of a Stephen King story?
No.
Which really sucked.
John.
John.
Dreamcatcher.
Yeah, it was Dreamcatcher. John is killing it today. Alrighty, moving right along. Someone,
because John's definitely going to get to pick a movie at the end of this game.
That's right. That's how it goes. Alrighty. 1960s TV sitcom starring Barbara Eden that aired on NBC. John.
I Dream of Jeannie.
John, you're in there so fast. I want to say my
destroying
name.
It. Yeah, Eric has no points.
Yeah.
Jeez, wow.
Outrageous for a trivia game.
Yeah.
All right.
John's just beating me to the punch every time.
In the movie Inception, the characters all have a focus, which keeps them rooted in, allows them to determine between reality and dreams. James, do you have an answer before I ask the question?
Spinning top.
No.
Okay.
What is Ellen Page's focus?
Oh.
See, I could have got it.
You can still get it.
You can still get it.
Yeah.
It is a chess piece.
Oh,
yeah.
Right.
Alrighty. In the PS4 game Bloodborne, what is the main hub where you access the workshop and any other areas of the game you want to go? What? Nobody? Okay, it's the Hunter's Dream.
Have any of us played Bloodborne?
No, I'm the only guy here who played Bloodborne. And I knew that. I'm sorry. Okay. All right, here's one. Okay. Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
What's the name of the famous baseball player?
Eric. Shoeless Joe Jackson.
Damn
Baseball!
Right.
Oh.
James Earl Jones.
That's correct. It was Shoeless Joe Jackson. Very good. All right. So moving right along, some old school video game trivia.
Yeah.
In Generation 1 Pokemon, what's the name of the move that can only be used on a sleeping Pokemon?
John. Dream Eater.
Damn right. God, I was worried. I was like,
No,
I
you
made
know
that
John,
question for
John's
you.
been fucking grinding his Pokemon since fucking Gen 1.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Any Final Fantasy fans out there? In Final
Yes.
Fantasy VI, what is the name of the character who ends up stuck in a dream?
James. Cyan.
It is Cyan.
Whoa.
Very good.
Oh.
Very good.
I almost botched that one.
Okay. Martin Luther King Jr. made his famous I Have a Dream speech in front of the Lincoln Memorial. Where did he give a prototype version of that speech beforehand in 1962?
Eric. Selma, Alabama.
My sources say Rocky Mount, North Carolina.
Okay, that's probably right. I was making an educated
really
guess.
Good guess. That's a very good guess.
He gave
That's
another
exactly what I would
famous
have
speech
guessed.
there, but I
So,
don't
yeah.
know what the hell it was called.
Right. That was a
All
guess.
Back to movies. Requiem for a Dream.
Ooh.
In what area of New York does this movie take place?
John. The Bronx.
No.
Eric.
Oh, shit.
Eric.
Staten Island.
No.
Ooh.
Chris. An equally shitty area.
Correct.
Thank
the
you.
answer is Brooklyn.
Wait, what did I say?
Bronx.
To the
Oh,
Bronx.
shit.
All right. Last question, just for the sake of it. In perhaps the wackest rap of all time, Nightmare on My Street. What is the transgression that causes Freddy Krueger to attack Will Smith?
Oh.
Probably disrespected him playing b-ball.
No.
Was
And
it
it wasn't
he hates
maxing,
music?
relaxing, and acting all cool.
Was it he hates music?
Nope, it wasn't. He hates music.
God, I remember we were so excited for the video when we were kids.
Yeah, I know.
When I
It's
heard
such a-
this awful voice coming from behind, it said, "You shut off David Letterman, now you must die."
Oh,
that's
shit.
what it was.
Yep, he shut off David Letterman while Freddie was watching it in his living room.
That's right.
So whack.
You can't hear that song anymore.
I was thinking about it during Chris's review. I was like, the way it started was deep. You know, nothing all fancy about this homeboy named Fred and this girl named Nancy. All right, well, with authority, Mr. Johnny is the winner today.
Wow. And have I got a doozy?
What did you get? 7, and second place, a distant second, was James with 3.
Nice.
Johnny.
Well,
Johnny,
I got a
killed
doozy for you guys.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Really? You guys don't know the Gremlins theme song?
Oh,
They had a theme song?
I thought we were
Yes.
going to watch Beer Patrol 3.
No, we
Revengeance.
are watching Gremlins, and you heard it here first. The next time that we decide to take some time off, you are going to hear Gremlins.
Nice.
You know, I
Unless it's no
picked,
longer streaming, in which case, ha ha.
Yeah, audience, next week, you probably won't hear Gremlins. You'll probably hear what we were gonna do this week.
if you hear Gremlins, something's gone horribly wrong.
Yeah, because we haven't even recorded that yet, so that's really
It's really
Right.
fucked up because we just watched a Christmas movie. You guys did D2, which is a Christmas movie, and then you're talking Gremlins, which is another Christmas movie.
Well, Gremlins is a Christmas movie. D2, not so much.
It's totally a Christmas movie, dude.
You're a Christmas movie.
Terminator
Oh, boy.
2 is a great Christmas movie.
Good night, everybody.
That's my line. Good night, everybody.
Quack.
A great big thank you to our staff graphic artist, Tabby Walters, the Weekly Cast, and our listeners. You can listen to our podcast on iTunes, the Stitcher app, through YouTube, or directly on our website. Feel free to send us a movie review suggestion. Every third episode is Listener Appreciation, where we choose from your suggestions. You can reach us through social media, either by liking our Facebook page, John Hates Movies YouTube channel, or following our Twitter at John Hates Movies. Our music was composed by Kevin MacLeod. You can find this track and many more on his website, incompetech.com. Thanks for listening, and tune in next week to hear someone say...
Eric, I did
Hooray!
the exact opposite of you. I crawled into a warm pile of garbage, and I found a discarded pocket shower, and I licked the basin of it until I was drunk, and then I found an old discarded Domino's box that had half a pizza that was moldy and covered with pineapple, and I ate that.